Hi all you lovely listeners, this is your host Shreya Salian, the founder of Sync, today bringing a very important topic to light, which is the awareness around chronic illnesses. For most of you who don't know, chronic illnesses can be invisible to the naked eye and can be misled into different conditions and not taken very seriously. Bringing this to light, we would like to bring an awareness around different conditions, having a special guest, Lokesh, who is not only a software engineer, he also does lovely, brilliant dances, and as a side project does kombucha. We would like to thank him so much for coming forth and sharing with us on this platform. So with no further ado, Lokesh, take the floor.
Thank you for bringing me in. Good to be here.
Straight to the topic, like what is the condition you had? How can we be educated on it?
I was diagnosed with this condition called Hashimoto thyroiditis. So it's essentially a form of hypothyroidism, which means your body does not produce as much T4 hormone. It's pretty much important to carry out your metabolic health and pretty much anything to do with your respiratory system, to your circulatory system, to your sexual health, to pretty much everything that you can think of. This is one of the central hormones that dictates everything around. So in this condition, basically your body produces less of this hormone, which makes your life a bit difficult at times, I'd say. So yeah, you essentially supplement an external form of thyroid hormone using pill, which you consume every day in the morning, and that's how you get to go around your day.
Where is it located?
So it's somewhere in your throat. There is this gland which sort of produces this T4 hormone, which eventually gets converted into T3, which is an active form of this hormone, and from that point onwards, it gets circulated to pretty much all the other organs to carry out their own function. So it can interact with your all the glands that you can think of.
Give us a little insight at like what age and what were the first symptoms that got you recognizing like something must be different.
So to be honest, I never thought about that somebody who is physically active would ever get something like this, because usually it's associated with people who are not eating clean and not taking care of themselves. Obviously, there was a point when I figured out that I'm feeling a bit lethargic throughout the day, and I usually get it when it's only for a week and you have fever or any form of flu or cold. This feeling of lethargy and drowsiness throughout the day for a prolonged period of time was a sure tell to me that something is off with me. And like we always have a coping mechanism of just telling ourselves, oh, everything is fine with you.
It's normal.
Yeah. You just need to sleep more, or you just need to eat healthier, or stop overthinking. But yeah, I think at some point you realize, it's not. Something is off, and you start comparing yourself to the others. How can they work longer hours than me, and how can they recover faster than me? Even though I'm putting all the right things into my body. So those are the sort of dilemmas that you go through. But yeah, there was a point when I sort of figured it out that yeah, I have a physical disadvantage when it comes to working more or dancing more or just being physically aware of all the things that I could possibly do. It wasn't direct push, but I also wanted to get my blood work done. So there I figured out that I have my TSH levels are elevated. The doctor recommended that you're sitting on something for so many months or years, we don't know, and you should definitely start this pill right away. Now I am this kind of person who is always hesitant about starting something of this nature, because what he told me was there's nothing you can do about it. Like you just have to start this pill, pop it every morning, carry out your life. And for me it felt like a crutch. How does a pill, like the idea of taking a pill every single morning wasn't a pleasant feeling for me. So I did avoid it. So I was like, I will not listen to this doctor. And I started researching online. So it's okay that my TSH levels are elevated. I'm sure there are more holistic, more natural ways of sort of curing it or reversing it, for that matter. So yeah, that was a quest for me to sort of figure out, is there a way to do that? I was already leading a healthy lifestyle. I started geeking out on the whatever the medical sciences out there. That's my nature of sort of digging into information, figuring out for myself, not trusting doctors on their face value.
We all have that, like do our own study and
exactly. Like it's my vested interest. I need to sort of get into the bottom of this. But yeah, so I did that. I started eating healthier, and I did retest my blood work, and the sad part is it did not improve to that degree I was expecting it to be. And I did it only for a couple of months, but it improved maybe by a few points, but then it wasn't enough to sort of call me asymptomatic. Though I started feeling slightly better. Could be because I was taking more care of myself, so the symptoms weren't that pronounced for that brief window. But yeah, then I came to the fact that avoid this unavoidable condition, right? And I started sort of going back to the doctor and yeah, did what is necessary, essentially taking the pill. The symptoms did not improve, at least when I started it initially.
And what is like the duration that you didn't take and then you started taking?
So I think I did not take it for about 5 months post my diagnosis. Not the wisest choice to to do, but at least that was a time when I learned a lot about this thing. What is the cause of it? Yeah, and I also figured out that when people talk about hypothyroidism, there are multiple reasons or the causes for it. So the most prominent one is Hashimoto's, which is the presence of antibodies in your body, which sort of suspect that there's something wrong with your thyroid gland, and they start attacking it. And they only do it when they feel a sense of inflammation in the body. So inflammation can be caused by physical stress, mental stress, anything that you've eaten that causes a response, any infection. Yeah, so it's like an autoimmune condition, like all the ones that we have talked about.
Takes longer.
Yeah, so, but like most people don't know what's the cause of hypothyroidism. And there are multiple causes, but the most prominent one is what I talked about. And there is a little test for it. You can figure out if there is a presence of antibodies in your blood of this nature, which is acting on your thyroid gland. But the doctors that I visited, they don't talk about it. They're like, okay, you just started off, and do I need to do anything with my lifestyle? No, you're good. Just take this, just pop this pill, you're good for life. So I mean, I noticed that just popping the pill wasn't helping me, at least for the 2 months that I yeah, I was always researching about it, and I did this test by myself without even consulting the doctor. And I figured out, yeah, the antibodies count was really high, and I figured out if this count is above 1,000, then yeah, they're really active and really killing your gland. So I started looking around internet and figuring out, are there any other ways to manage your life? That's the right term. And I came across this methodology called functional medicine. It's a fancy way of saying like it's more integrative than just say a regular allopathic way of medicine is, which means it does take the allopathic route, but it does it with a more root cause focused way. So they just don't stop at, oh, your TSH is elevated, so just pop the pill, but they dig 2 steps deeper and they figure out, oh, but your vitamin D might be low as well, your B12 levels might be low as well. What about your omegas? Are they balanced? What about all the other minerals that are present in your body? Are you taking enough zinc? Are you taking enough magnesium? So yeah, is your hemoglobin perfectly where it needs to be? So yeah, they also figured out what's the cause of the condition, right? They did my blood work with a much more detailed parameter analysis, and they're like, oh, yeah, I mean, for you just taking those levothyroxine pill won't be enough. You need to get more sun, but even sun won't be enough because your vitamin D levels are like yeah. So yeah, they prescribed me a lot of pills, supplementation. I right now believe that taking supplementation should be very normalized, because a lot of people, they are so hesitant to supplement anything because it's a form of a pill, and they're like, oh, if it's a pill, it's a chemical, I don't want to inject the chemicals in my body. But then it's so useful, and after a couple of months of sort of me supplementing those additional things apart from just the T4 hormone, I started feeling much better. So what I took is a combination of T4 and T3.
Okay.
Yeah, so usually like when you go to a regular doctor, they prescribe you T4.
Yeah.
And this usually just does things for you. But the functional medicine doctors, they believe that usually the T4 to T3 conversion journey takes a lot of pressure on the body, and it's better to supplement some T3 along with T4. He prescribed me T4 plus T3, vitamin D, B12, multivitamin, and
For most people not knowing, like majority of people have their B12 or like vitamin D low either way. So having just sunlight is not enough. So supplements are very much, and including doctors itself will recommend that even if you're out in the sun the whole day, you still have to take like vitamin D, because you're not getting enough of the nutrition just from that. I just recently found with like if you have a deficiency of vitamin B12, you get like your ankles hurting, and I didn't know that at all. I went for a trek and I came and I was like, God, it's hurting my ankles so bad. And then a girl tells me like, yeah, probably your B12, vitamin B12 is like low, and I was like, wait, that has an effect? Who knew that? Who knew that?
Yeah, we're just so hesitant to put in anything apart from food in our body.
Food is not enough. You don't get all the nutrition.
It's just not enough. Leading a lifestyle where you're doing so much, that you're working and you're working out.
The kind of positive lifestyle that they show of like working out, eating healthy, eating like these different diets, and what is actually happening is we're still not feeling at the optimum or potential level that we should be. This notion I feel where given from our parents to like grandparents, they're all like, yeah, we have always survived with food, we have always survived with whatever intake we are taken. So eating everything should be the solution. But nowadays it cannot be just that, because there's so much environmental change, there's so much your surrounding change, there's so much pressure. Life isn't as easy as it was before. Like you have to keep learning, you have to keep experimenting on yourself. It's like endless task of things, It's not just like, okay, I got a job, I just go do that and come. It's like, I have a job, I have to be active as well. I want to do my likings as well. And if something I didn't do when I was like a teenage, I need to fulfill it now. And things are changing technological wise as well. So like, even working is not enough, you have to learn more than what you're like working. So you're doing more courses, and God, that amount of pressure, you can just imagine what toll it takes on your nutrition at the end.
Like, I would say in terms of food, we are thriving on a world where we just want to get things faster, right? In terms of like you're always on the go, you don't have time to sort of really sit down, think about, plan your meals, right? With this quest of always sort of rushing things, we just don't focus enough on things that truly matter: your sleep, your nutrition,
your health,
your physical activity. So I think figuring out what's exactly happening in your body through whatever mediums that we have so far, like blood work or I don't know, various kinds of tests, allergy tests and stuff like that, you get to know something about your body. And if you're doing everything right, if you're eating all the meals in the right way, probably you don't need any supplementation. But chances are you probably do need.
After the age of 30, it's like naturally some or the other deficiency is bound to happen, because your body is not like functioning till you're now. I mean, and like I said, the environment we are living in, until and unless you decide to give it all up and you go to like a farm in between of like nowhere, and
the ideal life.
Exactly.
We've all dreamt of that at one point or the other.
The farm life, and then you're like, now I don't need to have any supplements. I have everything very naturally abundant to me, which was the case even if you think like 70, 80 years back, which was very much the case. Things have changed after like COVID and the kind of viruses that have been spreading around quite rapidly. Brought a lot of change, a lot of realization and perspective change affected your surrounding as well. And how has it like, because I'm sure you were at one point like working and there was this energetic environment around, it must have affected mentally in some way.
Yes, to be honest, it did affect me in so many other ways. So again, like I was working at a startup, very high paced, high energy environment. There was a point where I was very much in tune with the pace of it. The point when I slowly sort of started, I don't know, my energy level started dulling and going down. And it's very hard to pinpoint when exactly this started, because it was so gradual that I don't even know if this was the reason for it or something else. So at point like you feel lethargic to keep up with the amount of commitment that you need at the place. So I used to feel drowsy in the afternoons, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this energy slump in the afternoon.
After lunch.
After lunch,
especially.
yes. And I always used to sort of label it like that. But I strongly believe it was more than that for me. It was that state where it was really hard to sort of type in even a line of code. And I used to think about, this makes sense. What's next? So I just sort of,
Blank out?
yeah, I sort of blank out what I was doing again, and you sort of get into the state. It wasn't the case throughout the day, at least for me. But then there was always this condition where I was blanking out, not being able to remember stuff, not being able to keep up with the sort of social energy that I needed to to survive in that kind of environment. So a lot of people are just laughing and making jokes, and then well, I want to be there, but yeah, maybe tomorrow. Like, today I feel like just chilling with myself. Uh, and some people call it introversion.
Yeah.
And it might very well be the case, but again, I felt that it was because I just didn't have energy to sort of burst out and really interact with people. Yeah, I think also I felt some form of laziness or the delayed recovery in my dance classes. So
Feel like a little snail going slowly through life.
yeah, I was always this guy who used to push things, but then afterwards I used to just be so drowsy and be like, oh, I need to take 2 days to recover for this incredible workout that I put in. I used to see people, they were fine. Yeah, made me wonder if there's anything wrong with me. But I guess these hormonal defects are so sly in nature that you just don't know it until you put a label on it, like, oh, you have this condition. So
Yeah.
then I was like, oh,
And then it starts making sense. Like, oh,
Exactly.
you know, now that's the reason I was feeling this
Yeah.
way, and you start connecting the dots to
Correct.
what's happening. For many of the viewers that have no idea, what he just explained is also called chronic fatigue. It happens to many people going through autoimmune. So what is a chronic fatigue is you just feel tired and low on energy. Honestly, it hits so hard that the only thing you can think of is pretty much getting a rest. And it's not like you're sleepy or you're putting yourself into that, like when you go to bed you actually have to put yourself to sleep. It is not like that. It is your body putting you into sleep. That's how we can put it in the most easiest term. Other thing of remembering is called brain fog. So brain fog is when your mind is clouded and you're unable to focus. You could have a little of blanking out, so you cannot keep your attention on one topic. It's not you being having ADHD or
Yeah, no, please no.
or some sort of like I'm not listening because I'm ignorant or arrogant or some sort, but actually you can't focus because you hear that they're saying something, but your mind is not even having the attention span to grasp it. That's the hard part to understand.
Some of you might relate to it and say, oh, I don't have that level of fatigue, I don't have that level of lethargy, or I sometimes do feel it, but it's not that brutal in my case. You might be suffering from it, it just could be borderline.
Yeah.
It could be, yeah, I mean, it might get worse over time. I don't want to scare you guys, but yeah.
Important thing is recognizing pattern. I feel like how you say, I notice this energy level go down. Every afternoon you're feeling that drop in your body, and it's sort of like you can. Some might say like low dopamine, so they need chocolate to have it or caffeine to have it, and then they're like, yeah, I just need that energy boost, so I'm relying on substances to like get that.
Yeah.
But not knowing that there's actually something your body is trying to actually tell, in the other way around. Till like something happens and you're like, it's two different aspects to this. Yeah. Hope it makes sense in trying to connect the dots as well. There are many terms. It could be like brain fog, or they could be like blanking out for some people. Some people it could be even attention span. So like someone's talking, you want to really listen. You listen to like 10 minutes, and that consumption of 10 minutes of attention itself is energy draining. I've had that so many times.
Yeah.
Even by not doing anything and just listening to someone is energy draining. Or focusing on what someone's telling is energy draining. At some point, someone going through, you feel like you're missing out on what's being said at the moment, being at the moment. Like, there's so much positive lifestyle infused into our life.
Hmm.
You're not being focused or something. It's like you start harming your own self in some ways. Like,
Yeah.
how is this happening to me? I want to be in the moment. I'm breathing. I'm listening, but my mind's just not taking, and my mind's like fooling around with me.
Yeah.
Sometimes probably playing some song, or the person says something, and suddenly it jumps to another topic in your head. And these things are to be taken seriously, actually.
Yeah, so
Some-
the most crazy part about this is like the symptoms are so hideous that you might just mistake it for they're not a social being, so yeah, that's okay. Or you just don't sleep enough, and maybe you don't take care of yourself, so
You don't
you
work
just
out.
sort of confuse it with so many other things.
Pain as a fun thing.
Yeah.
Like now people are like, it's such a fun thing to just say like, oh, I have something like this, which is like, you're not looking at it as a serious thing that it needs
Correct.
to be rectified. Talking helps, like talking to someone taking you seriously in terms of like, what you're sharing is not something minor. If it's happening more than one time, it's
Correct.
not something like to laugh about or make jokes or quite more serious to be noted. Some people label it as like, oh, you're just going through a phase,
Exactly.
or more symptoms you've got to know
Correct,
what's
correct.
going on.
What's more scary for me is that I'm sure there are hundreds and thousands of people who are suffering from this condition, and they just don't know it. For them, the quality of life has been so dulled by what they're experiencing right now that they think, oh, I mean, this is what normal feels like. I just wish that they somehow got to know about this, and they started doing whatever is required of them, supplementing with whatever hormones they are lacking, or the vitamins or the minerals. And if they did that, I feel they would realize the quality of life they can actually experience, like how beautiful life actually is. So I think thanks a lot for doing this for so many other people, because maybe some of the other will just hear it and relate to the conditions and the symptoms that they're facing. I just get the blood work done.
It's as simple as getting
Yeah.
a blood work done.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky, like in India, I feel like it's easier to like get accessibility to understand like what's going on with you, or they really take it serious to kind of get down to the root, like what's going on with you. Like you mentioned, many people don't know what is going on because another thing about chronic illnesses, for those who don't know, chronic illnesses don't just happen within a day. It's chronic because for a long period of time you're going through something that at some point you just dismiss your own self, you're in denial, you're in anger at some point, and then at some point you're like, I just have to live the rest of my life like this, and then you're just in acceptance out of it. It's like stages of grief, there's like stages of this point, and I don't know if I
Very well put, yeah. I think that's the most accurate summary. Yeah.
And at such a level, when you're going and living through that pain just becomes a part of your life. And then that itself is what chronic pain is. And it's sad when you reach the severity of it. The doctor is like, how the heck did you live your life like this, Be it whatever. At some point, it gets so severe that even a small touch is so painful. And you just try ignoring it behind the smiles and faking it till you make it, and so much positive induced information that it's like just saying that, yeah, I'm supposed to be there in that positive space. If I'm not there, I'd rather ignore and just be how it's going then. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
And no one realizes that that's also toxic in some way, because it's like, then I'm again harming myself.
You're forcing,
Yeah.
it should just come from within, like you should feel it, You're forcing it,
Exactly.
you're just suppressing whatever you're naturally feeling.
Yeah. You've been in such a situation, things that you've come across.
Like nobody called it out very openly, but as I said, like me just feeling that I've become more of a dull personality was something that became very obvious to me in some time. Yeah, it just reflects in all the avenues that you can think of in your life. Ability to take initiatives, for example. You become sort of passive in life, so you don't really think about initiatives. Oh, I need to do something because everything else is so good. But you just want to get away with the day and pick the bed. Also, you feel it socially in terms of you not being able to, I don't know what's the right term for it, but reciprocate the energy back to the person who's talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you feel it yourself. I mean, the other person does not have to sort of give you feedback in that sense, but you just feel it that, yeah, I mean, look at this person, so vibrant. And I'm just, yeah, I just, okay, bye.
Okay.
So yeah,
Cut off so many people.
exactly.
How has the support system around you been like when you have been going through something like this?
The friends around me have been really supportive in terms of, you know, understanding that I'm not full of energy in all this. So yeah, I mean, pretty much they have been with me in the entire journey without they even knowing that I have this condition. But I guess after knowing about those things and telling them, I think all of us had this moment of, oh yeah, it makes sense, it makes sense. Yeah.
Sudden realization.
Exactly.
Like
You would suddenly feel validated. Oh, I mean, it's not about that my thoughts were not enough or I'm not motivated enough, right? But it's just this condition made me paralyzed or semi-paralyzed for a brief period of time. Yeah, and yeah, you can get your energy back.
How has the supplements changed your life? Because you mentioned it quite a bit, like, oh, this is like life changing. And so, what is the before and after? You said a lot like lethargic and that, and then how has it changed after that?
They are honestly magical if you're deficient in anything, because. So here's the thing: like your body needs those minerals, those vitamins, those whatever substances that your body just naturally produce most times. You take it through your meals and whatever you eat. And if you have deficiencies in those substances, your body still works, but it's just in a very suboptimal state. Like you're still able to go through your entire day. You're still able to work. You're still able to dance and do all this stuff. But the performance that you get out of your day, like the amount of focus that you get out of that day, the precision, everything else, your reflexes, they are just dulled out. Yeah, you just feel like, yeah, your energy levels have been tweaked. Yeah, somebody just tweaked your energy levels to very suboptimal thing. Yeah, and those vitamins and like when you supplement it with all those things, in due time, vitamin levels are on point. You just start feeling that, oh, my body is working how it's supposed to work in an ideal state. So that brings you closer to what its potential is. You know what I mean? So you just realizing that, oh, I can actually work for 8 hours without even getting tired. I can go through 6 hours of rehearsals and be completely okay and show up the next day. Makes you wonder, what were you doing your entire life? Yeah, that's what supplements did to me, and that's why I've been an advocate, telling people that it's okay. Come on, just consult your doctor, figure it out, what's lacking with you, and then yeah, shouldn't be a big deal just because it's a pill. No, I actually believe it. I mean, that's why I'm even pushing this idea.
Yeah. How do you feel sharing about all of this?
I'm kind of reserved in that sense. Like I don't share, at least through words. It's sort of new to me. Sharing openly is something that I don't do often.
Comes out of a comfort zone.
Yeah. I do dance a lot, so I think that's my way of expression through movement.
It gives you happiness.
Yes, definitely.
How do you feel soulfully when you dance?
Oh, I mean, it's ecstatic. Yeah. Just being able to sort of move my body, do so many things, listening to music, yeah, that brings a lot of joy in my life. And yeah, expressing even when it's not obvious what I'm trying to say, because a lot of it is so abstract, but I know what I'm communicating. So just having that sense and doing it for myself, so gratifying. So I'm not so comfortable with the talking format or expression.
How do you feel after sharing all of this in the play?
It wasn't too terrible actually. At least you did a phenomenal job of making me comfortable in front of camera. I am aware that it's there, but yeah. For a brief moment, I forgot that. Yeah, I was talking to you.
There's a lot in chronic illnesses that when you take.
I'm sure a lot of symptoms are not even documented.
When it comes to traveling, how has it been for you?
What I do remember is that I did not really travel that much when I was feeling those symptoms in my lowest point of that condition. So I think that zeal of traveling also sort of went away for some time. That's my best recollection of that phase. Yeah, but I think in general that lethargy sort of takes over all points of your life, as I mentioned. So you tend to get tired more easily. Doesn't take a lot for you to just say, it's okay, let's just rest it out. Yeah.
That mattered to you a lot, that you had to compromise with?
So I would say, three things. My work, not being able to do my best at work, not being able to recover well for my dance classes. So I'm always this enthusiastic kind, or I used to call myself a very experimental kind of person who just likes to try different things every weekend. So be it acro yoga, be it aerial silk, being with Bhutto, if there's a new form of yoga, I just want to try it out. If there's any new form of music, I want to just experience it. If a new artist comes to the city, I want to just experience it. Figuring out that I want to go there, but I just feel so lazy right now that I don't want to. Yeah, so I felt that I compromised a lot on what I want to do versus what I actually ended up doing. Or I did go to some of these events, not fully experience those things because I was not fully there. My presence wasn't 100% there. So yeah, apart from that, I think the social life, you being just cancelling on friends because
cancellation. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because you're feeling lazy that day, or people are calling out for dinner, all of your college friends are meeting up, but you're like, I can't make it, sorry, because I had a long day at work, or something so casual as I mean, I did not get a good sleep last night, so I'll have to cancel for today, but I'll make up for it, which you never do.
I like how you put that, which we never do.
Yeah, I think those sort of things. But I think it's so subtle that you might sort of mistake it with all the regular behaviors that everyone experiences.
It's really well put out. Yeah, cancelling out is one of the very main thing that happens a lot because you have to sit and explain to them what's going on with you, and then we cancelling out because we live in Bangalore, so traveling is energetic, okay?
Yeah, I've used this excuse quite a lot.
Yeah. I see it this way, you're too good of a person, you're making everyone happy and you're like giving out to everyone, and then at one point you realize like, are you being good to yourself?
Wow.
Was there anything to do with like hereditary when it came to you?
Yes. Figured out what Hashimoto's thyroiditis actually means. I figured out that this is a genetic thing. You always have a genetic predisposition if your parents have it.
Yeah.
The onset might or might not happen in the entire course of your life. So yeah, my mom has it, my elder sister has it. I mean, they were so casual about it, they popped the pill right away. They did not like do anything about it in terms of reading it up. They just did what their doctors do. Yeah, but then when I had it, I could sort of relate to some of the symptoms they were facing when I did have a chat with them. So yeah, I mean, if your parents have this condition, you're always at a risk of having it. But the onset is often caused by some form of external stress. Stress could be mental, physical, food, chemicals, or as simple as applying certain substances on your skin. Yeah, you could trigger something in your body.
Thanks for sharing that. That's very interesting to see. Like, there's a hereditary pattern as well as external pattern. Was there any emotion that you reserved within you that also could kind of create a trigger to this by any chance?
From what I can think of, yeah, I haven't delved so deep into it, but yeah, I'll figure it out at some point.
It's okay.
If that's
it's okay.
one of the causes. Yeah,
Yeah, probably brought it to your attention.
yeah, I'm sure. For people who want to find out, how do you actually go about doing that?
Understand like what kind of
Hmm.
certain emotions that were very reserved. Like
Mhm.
for example, you never let out your anger, you never let out your sadness. When I say sadness, like cry out. You just never expressed yourself. That could lead to this.
Oh, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Not expressing myself enough. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go.
Not expressing yourself enough, keeping anger within you, uh, like not crying enough, because people assume that crying is a weakness or it's considered as your seen small or lower. So there is those sort of emotions, so very low graded emotions.
Mhm.
When I say low graded, so there's low graded and high graded. High graded is when you're very happy, energetic, you're vibrant, jumping around and stuff, and you feel good for others, you're very positively celebrating for someone else. So those are like positive graded. Like low graded would be like not the good feeling type emotions, to just keep it in short terms. How do you get along when someone has no idea what you're going through and pretty much like doesn't understand about it? You come across, like, have you come across something like that? And if you come across something like that, you deal with that situation?
Hmm. So as I said, like after post my diagnosis, I've started doing the right things for my body. I don't. The symptoms are not so pronounced anymore. I do occasionally feel again lethargic, but again this is not to an extent where it comes out very openly to people. I think I have been feeling much better post doing the right things. So yeah, I mean, nobody has sort of told me that any of those things.
Nice.
But I'm assuming, and I've read a lot of stories on the internet, that yeah, for a lot of people the symptoms just persist for a really long while, even after they are stopped. They're doing all the right things. There are a lot of restrictive diets that people go through, which affects their social life as well, because the sheer amount of options that you have when you go to restaurants are so limited.
Yeah.
We were talking about it earlier today as well.
Exactly.
That people sort of might get sidelined by a lot of your friends because this guy is so choosy. This guy does not eat sugar.
And then there's not a lot of explanation comes
Yeah,
forth.
exactly. Yeah, you sort of get sidelined over time. Anyways, I mean, people who know what it is, they know that you need to take care of some of those things, because at the end, your body suffers to some degree.
Really great how just being sidelined and people understanding can be quite a challenge. It's been so great. You've been sharing such a great experience of everything you've been through. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I honestly forgot about a lot of it. Your questions were so on point that, I mean, a lot of memories keep flooding my brain, and I could just sort of take it out and share it with you and the camera.
Does it made you feel or?
I'm not that nervous that I initially thought I would be. Great overall.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Lokesh, for coming forth, sharing, giving so much insight and information on what you've been going through. And Singh, we thank you so much for being here. If you would like to see many more of this, please follow the YouTube channel to see the full documentation. And don't forget to check out his page of the kombucha. Please share that, please.
Yeah, it's called Make My Kombucha, if you want to follow it on Instagram.
Yeah, and also your personal page so that people know.
Yeah, you can follow me on @Lokesh Devnani without spaces.
Amazing. Thank you so much and have a great day. Signing off, your host Shreya and